Reshma, can I make you the host, darling?
Yeah, do that.
मुझे भी है जिससे मैं अपना और अपने परिवार का भविष्य संवार सकूं। हाँ, मुझे मन लायक काम भी मिला था सरकार।
I think you will have to now do the recording. Oh no, it's recording. Fine. Oh. So welcome to this intro call, which was such a last minute kind of a thing, which Kavita and Neenu both suggested that we speak about entities and about the contribution that they've been and the contribution that they are in our lives. What better way than to contribute to everybody, especially being a Mother's Day week. It's still not over, even if the day is over. Yeah. Yes. So.
Hi, Chanda.
Hi, sweetheart.
How are you?
Thank you. I'm wonderful. Thank you for being on. Thank you.
I love to be on your calls. Only thing I'm traveling a lot. Very difficult.
Reshma, can we mute everyone, honey? Thank you. Great. Can I request everyone to please mute themselves? Thank you. Thank you.
I've muted everybody. I'm sorry.
Yeah, please just be on. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So this week's has actually been a really phenomenal week for me. I spent a few days in Jaipur this last week, and I was sharing with Kavita and with Neenu how much changed, how much friggin' changed right there in those 2 days. And it was like, wow. You know, I have this beautiful host of mine in Jaipur, Jyotika, and she had organized this wonderful class, and it was just supposed to be a talk to the entities class where we give you the manual, we share the tools, we clear everything, and you go back really empowered, knowing that you are the most dominant entity of your reality, right? That's what we generally do with talk to the entities in the class. This class blasted every limitation, every limitation that every person had, everything that they brought in with them, and everything that they had decided was real for them, literally was blasted. And there were a few moments when we were like, it was literally like you could see ice melting, you know, with that ease of solid turning to water, to liquid. It was literally like that, and you literally could see it flowing out of their lives. And I really have so much gratitude to everybody who chooses these classes and who chooses to do the Talk to the Entities class, because like I always say, you've got to be really weird to be sitting in a Talk to the Entities class. You've got to be really willing to be making a demand of yourselves that is truly beyond this reality for you to choose this class. Because like I would always constantly say, and for everybody who doesn't know me, I'm Chandana Bawa, CF from Delhi, and I am a Talk to the Entities facilitator also. And I would always share with everybody that initially I would, you know, when I started with the access and I became a CF, I was like, yeah, I'm really happy facilitating the foundation and facilitating other very um, normal classes, like the money class or like relationships class. And I would laugh at them and tell them, I will never facilitate a talk to the entities class. In my head, it was like, I don't want to be there. I don't want to go there. I don't want to, I don't want to be that aware. A little bit of unawareness will work for me. That was my point of view. And that's what I had. That's what I would actually, that's, that is the awareness that I kept from myself. Is it fun? Ninu, well, sweetheart, when I started with Talk to the Entities class, I actually got to know what fun means, because there are no barriers left. There is absolutely complete, total vulnerability with yourself and with your universe. You don't give a damn whether people really judge you or not, because you're willing to be seen. You're willing to be seen for the phenomenon you be. You're willing to be seen for the awareness that you have. You're willing to acknowledge what you know. I mean, truly, for me, it was like to be willing to be sitting in a Talk to the Entities class or to be communicating with the entities. How much do you have to trust you? I mean, that's literally beyond this reality, that can I really trust myself that much? And can I really be that aware? So, it's like when you do a Talk to the Entities class, there is really no escaping from vulnerability. There are no excuses. There is no justification. There is nothing that can stop you from being you. Because when you're willing to talk to the entities, and when you're willing to receive the contribution from the entities, is when you're really willing to receive from everything on this planet. Because like we talk about this so very often, everything on this planet is an entity. Because entity, the way it's been defined in dictionaries, is an energy that can be defined. So having said that, you are an energy that has been defined by the name that you've given yourself. So are you an entity too? So when we are not willing to receive the contribution, and when we are not willing to receive the entities, guess what? We don't receive ourselves too. Well, so how many of you have decided and concluded that you will never, ever, ever, ever receive from entities? Leave aside receive. You will never even talk about talking to entities. You will not even consider it. It is so not normal. Everything that is, will you all destroy and uncreate it all, please?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, popcorn, 9 shots, boys and beyonds.
Can I just add something here, Chandana? Hello from
Please.
Holland again.
Hi, Ruchika. Thank you for being on, honey.
I just saw your invitation a couple of minutes ago, and would you believe it? I'm listening to the recording of the class that you did here for us
Oh, I'm so
these
glad.
days. And it is just such a huge space that opens up, and every once in a while you go back to the class recording only to remind yourself how wonderful it is to be completely present, and what an incomplete presence you were in your own life. You were not acknowledging yourself as the entity of your life.
Yeah.
Because of some kind of fear this reality puts into your mind about how scared you should be of entities, how much terror or havoc they can cause into your life. Whereas ever since I've done this class, all I've received is contribution.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that, Ruchika.
My
My God,
pleasure.
that's so kind of you. Ruchika is this beautiful, wonderful lady from Holland who invited me there last year. And we had
Thank you,
more
Ruchika.
beautiful
Thank
top
you
of the
for
end
sharing.
class there. Yeah,
My
truly.
pleasure. My pleasure, totally.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's something that I would recommend. And you know what, people, my close friends who've known me for 25 years, they never really sort of acknowledged my posts on Facebook when the entities classes were going on, and now kind of are still questioning me. What is it that wants you to play around with entities? Can't you just leave it alone? Isn't there enough access in your life for you to have to do that as well? I said, nobody pushed me. It's just that I'd like to be that much more present.
Yes, so true. And that's a really beautiful one that you just shared about being present. Because, yeah, I mean, how present do you have to be to acknowledge everything that you don't see? How many of us really see entities, right? But how many of us perceive them constantly?
Correct.
So, how present do you have to be to acknowledge that you perceive them and to acknowledge when you perceive them?
Yes, and
And
every time,
everything
once
that
in a while,
is,
yes, sorry,
yeah, go ahead,
yes.
no problem, go ahead.
No, I said every time you do perceive them as so-called a nuisance or a weight or a heaviness, it is actually just gratitude that goes out, because somewhere perhaps were you slipping in the kind of presence you are in your life, or were they becoming too strong? Is it, which one is it? And so I just choose myself
Oh,
over
wow.
and over again.
Wow. Thank you for that. Thank you. What a gift. Yeah, in fact, you know, when you don't acknowledge the presence of entities, and I'm going to repeat that, when you don't acknowledge the presence of entities. So, talk to the entities is not about becoming aware of entities. Guess what? You already are aware. It's more about giving you the tools of now what you can do with the awareness. So it's not really about telling you, come on, I will take you into a room and I will switch off the lights and burn these candles and dance on one foot and take a broom and hit you and show you that you can talk to entities. It's really not that dramatic. It's more of, well, you are always perceiving them, but you're shutting down that awareness. You're constantly shutting down that awareness. What if you didn't have to shut that awareness down by keeping your barriers down instead? And what can you now receive? What is the contribution that they can be to you in your life? So every time that you push them away from you, every time that you push them and you're not willing to acknowledge their very presence, is
Chandana, can I
you.
say something here?
Yes, please, my love, go ahead.
Yeah,
Hi,
I have
Rashmi.
done.
I
Hi,
love this woman.
Chandana. So I have done TTTE with Chandana, and before doing that, like I was in this, I had a lot of body aches, a lot of body issues, and I would not. I was afraid. I, I was sorry for that.
No problem.
I was afraid. I was really afraid. I used to put lemon inside water in a glass, keep it on my dining table. Somebody told me, to drive the entities away, kind of. Then finally, it reached the point where I was like, no, let me just go sit in the class and see what changes. So, with a lot of courage, with a lot of self doubt, I walked into her class. And the first thing that she told me is like, you are an entity yourself. And then the whole thing like blew apart. Whatever fear I had was about me being present in my own life. And the entity class for me brought so much of change in the way I am being present with myself, the way I am acknowledging my own awareness, that self-doubt that I had within me. Like a lot of that just blew away. In those 2 days, it was like she showed me a me which was like, which I had never even perceived. because it was all, covered up with a lot of self-doubt, or, I was not present with myself. And when that changed, I started acknowledging myself as an entity. Then I found no separation with the other entities too. Because one day I am going to go there with, with no body, which is inevitable whenever I choose to. Like, but that is inevitable. And then all that fear, all that just slowly started melting. And my body pains, my body issues, mood swings, it just miraculously started slowly getting better and better and better. And now that I will not say that does not exist. There are days where I'm like, ah. But then I quickly, like, it just takes me a choice. Like, okay, not this space. This space is not working. I'm stepping out. That's all that it takes.
Yeah.
And that space is so contributive, so nurturing. So thank you, Chandana, for that class.
Oh,
Like, what?
Thank you, Rashmi. Oh my God, how did I get so lucky to have all of you wonderful people here? Speaking about true contribution, and these are, and this is the way entities contribute, right? If we are willing to receive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. That one step that I took to come to the class was like a major step towards changing what I was about to change. Like, I was standing at the threshold.
Right.
And this class was like a catalyst.
Yes.
Boom, it went.
Yeah. I remember somebody asked Gary once that, what can I do to exponentialize my sessions, create greater in my life? What can I do here? And he was like, are you willing to receive from entities? And he was like, no. So Gary said, well, go sit in an entity class. Because that's when you actually start to receive from yourselves. You start to receive from everything that is inanimate. Because everything that's inanimate, including your laptops that you're looking at right now, including the books on your table, including the tables, including the chairs, the sofas, everything's an entity. So what if you can actually receive the contribution that everything is being to you? And
Chandana, is business
allow that will you all destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, spot, park on 9 shots, boys and beyonds. Yes, darling, you were asking a question.
Yeah, is business an entity too?
Absolutely. And that's when you start to communicate with your business as an entity. I mean, how many of us have heard Simon say that? Communicate with your business like it could be a friend. Right? What if you can actually communicate with your business, with your home, with everything that has a body and doesn't have a body? Everything that is energy that's been defined as something. What if we can all receive from that? I truly wonder. Yes, Sanjay, I see your hand up. Blue hand. Do you have a question?
I have a question.
Yes.
Is money also an entity then?
Money is energy, right?
Yes.
So when you have labeled it, when you've defined it as a currency, it becomes an entity too.
Wow. Great. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah. So, yes, and do we have any questions? Kavita, Nino, do we have any questions here, darling? Or
Channa?
What is it? Yeah. Yep, Reshma.
So with respect to hi. So with respect to entities, is there a way that entities can only contribute, or can they also harm us in any way?
That's a really good question, Reshma, and I'm so happy you're asking that. I truly wonder how many people are on this call with the same thought, with the same fear. But
I really wonder.
and they don't want to voice it. Well, can anything really harm you? Can anything really harm you? Or do you choose it to stop you? So is it the entity that's harming you, or are you just choosing that as a tool to stop you?
As an excuse, probably.
Probably, yeah. I mean, how many people are using entities as a source of not creating their life? How many people are using entities as an excuse not to create their lives? What if that was the biggest lie? What could you then change? I mean, if you, Ninu, this class really brings you out of everywhere that you victimized yourself with anything, anybody. For me, when I did the class, it actually brought me into the space of becoming the dominant entity of my reality. I was like, okay, if something's not working, no excuses, no reasons, no validation no looking for validation from anywhere. I have to ask a question here as to what am I choosing here that's creating this? And are you, yeah, that is one of the biggest contributions for me. And like you spoke about fear, fear is just a distractor implant, right? I mean, that's the only purpose of a distractor implant, which is to distract you from creating your life. And I see a lot of people are distracting you, Reshma, right now.
No,
I
no,
don't
not
know
at all.
who
Not me. No way.
those are.
No way. So just one, I have a question there. Okay, so when you say that you're the dominant entity, like I know we're all, as infinite beings, we're all the dominant entities in our world. But then there are these moments where you're like, you, like, at least for me, I feel like exhausted and drained and all those things. And then I was like, what is going on? And I get a little baffled as to what questions I could ask there.
Thank you. Great question. Is exhaustion real? Or is it a lie?
A lie?
So
Totally lie.
I mean, when we actually use the tool, who does this belong to? Is it only about people? Is it only about people, or is it also about, you could pick up certain thoughts, feelings, emotions from entities around you too? Hi, Ishu.
Ishu, Mama.
Hi, I was just having a little bit of fun. I didn't realize she put
I
the
know,
camera
I
on
can
me.
see that. That's my distraction. That's
Hi.
my daughter, Isha.
Yes, I can.
CF,
Hi,
who's
guys.
right now in Mumbai facilitating a foundation class.
Yay.
Awesome. I will not be a distraction anymore. Please carry on.
Thank you. I think we have some questions that have been typed out.
I have a question, Chandana.
Yes, darling.
How does entity help in relationship? Like, do they also contribute in relationship, or can they also contribute in relationship?
That's a really good question, Kavita, here. So how many of us already have relationships with entities from our past lives? Everything that is, will you all please destroy and unpid it all?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, park, all 9 shots, boys and beyonds. So when you actually have something like that happening in your life, would you really like to create another relationship with somebody when you already have a relationship on? Right? So did that kind of clarify anything, darling?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. And it's wonderful because not just the way all people are not mean, bad, nasty. There's some kind on this planet too. There's some that are truly gifting on this planet too. Similarly, there are entities that could be kind, that could be mean, that could be nasty, that could be really gifting, who are really there to contribute to your life.
And does this class tell you how to deal with these?
Yes, Nino, it does. We actually have a manual wherein we speak about the different types of entities. We speak about clearing different types of entities, whether it's your implanted, explanted entities, or whether there's so many types. There are some that are stuck with you from lifetimes. There are a few that are there's so many, and then we talk about clearing all of them. We talk about how you can clear them, how you can receive from them. We don't really talk too much about receiving in the beginnings class, but we do speak about it, and we cover a lot with clearing and communication.
Can you share some experience of yours with entities?
Oh yeah, I have so many. Oh my God, I would really love for people on this call, if there are any who were in the class, to share. I mean, the shifts that show up. So I had fibromyalgia for many years, right? For almost 19 years. And for me, after doing the Talk to the Entities class, for me, when I did the bars class, my body was ease, okay? But when I did the Talk to the Entities class, everything shifted in my body. And I started to realize how aware my body is, how much of information my body is giving me constantly is giving me awareness of people's moods, of people's pains, whether it's psychological or physiological. I am constantly aware, my body is constantly aware of it around me. And when I was not able to differentiate between what's mine and what somebody else's, I was still picking up their crap, even after a couple of classes and access. But the Talk to the Entities class truly gave me the clarity of what is mine and what is not mine. I mean, all of you who are on the call, who've done the class,
Yes.
you actually start to recognize what's yours and what's not. You stop trying to collect people's farts in a bag and take it home. You're like, oh my God, this fart must be mine. I better take it home. No, you don't need to take it home. You don't even need to check whose fart it is. Just let it be and move on. Right? And that's the beauty
Absolutely.
of it. And when it's your fart, you know it's your fart. And you're like, oh, okay, what do I do with that? Stop making everyone's fart yours, guys. It's not. And that's what actually changed so much for me after Talk to the Entities. My body has had so much of ease, Nino, that I truly, truly can share with you. It's had more ease than it had even when I was a young kid.
Wow.
Even as a 15, 16, I remember as a 13, 14-year-old girl, I remember having these really intense headaches. And I didn't know what they were. The doctor said it's not migraine. And he would say, just take a Disprin in water or take 2 Disprins in water. And I would do that. But the headaches would not go.
So
And sometimes
people's
it was so bad.
sleeplessnesses and all. So people's sleeplessness and all that could also be this
Yes.
reason.
Yes.
Okay.
Insomnia, palpitation,
Anxiety,
anxiety, Rashmi,
depression.
depression. Yes, yes.
For me, I used to hear a lot of like sounds, and I wouldn't like differentiate whether it's mine or someone else talking to me. After the class, I had a very clear awareness of what is mine and what is them trying to communicate to me. So that brought down a lot of anxiety. And slowly, when that came down, I started playing with my depression too. And that just vanished.
Yeah. That was so beautiful because I
Yes.
remember so for everyone who doesn't know Rashmi, she's this beautiful girl from Bangalore. And I remember when I got home to Delhi after the class, and she called me after I think 2 or 3 days, and she said, Chandana, I've not had my medicine. I was like, okay, so what else is possible, babe? And she was like, yes, and I've slept. And I remember her one question was, will this last? I don't know if you
Absolutely.
I don't know if you remember that, Rashmi. You
I
asked
do.
me on the
I do.
phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
She said, will this last? And
Chandana, Ambika's
yeah,
question, I think we missed it. She's saying if
yeah.
you don't perceive entities, then
So yes, that's very much like, oh, I love that question because that used to be me. I would say I don't perceive entities. So I would really like you to ask yourself one question. What am I unwilling to know that I know? Just that. What are you unwilling to know that you know? I mean, if you're looking straight ahead and they're children, they're dogs, they're cats, they're flowers, they're stones, they're trees, do you see it all or do you just see it filtered? You see it all, right? Similarly, when you're perceiving, you're perceiving everything. But we're not willing to acknowledge that we are perceiving it. We give it a name of something else. Or we say, no, I don't want to perceive it. No, I don't want to know. How many of us have lived our entire life unwilling to know what we know? Everything that is, will you all destroy and uncreate it all, please?
Yes, please.
Right, wrong,
Sanjay's
bad,
question is,
right,
do we have
pleasant.
oath vows with entities?
Yes, very, very often. From past lifetimes, from different dimensions, with beings in bodies, with beings without bodies. And we clear them all. It's so simple, which is what I find so beautiful about access. Everything about access is so easy and just so simple and just so fun. And this is another class which is pretty much the same. It's just so much of fun and just so easy. And brings you into this immense awareness about everything around you.
Chandana, are properties and entities related? Like maybe say a land or a house?
Yes, darling. Yes. Very often when house, when you enter a home or you enter a hotel and you enter a particular room, and you are like, oh my God, I can barely breathe. Or it's really heavy. Or there's smoke. I remember, I must share this with you, okay? It's really funny. So, so Isha and I had gone to Rome for the Maestro class, and we checked into our hotel and we went to our room, which was supposed to be a really nice room. And when we walked in, we were like, oh my God, there's so much of smoke here. So we went down to the lobby and we said, can you please change our room because there's too much of smell of cigarettes. So the man looked across and he said, ma'am, this hotel is smoke free. I said, no, I want to change my room. There's too much of cigarettes. Okay, cool. They gave us another wonderful, beautiful room. We walked in, again, cigarettes. And that's when I looked at Isha and she looked at me and she says, wow, let's clear them. They probably just want to be acknowledged. So it took us a minute to clear them and there was no smoke smell. So often the energies in a house are heavy or dense, or your work doesn't get done, and that such homes are called haunted, right? They could be entities hanging around for years, for lifetimes. I remember I went to this place next to the Gurdwara in Amritsar. It's called Jallianwala Bagh. And for everybody who knows history, we know that how many people died in Jallianwala Bagh, right, during the partition. And even now when I speak about it, I get these goosebumps all over my body. And I remember, we walked into Jallianwala Bagh. This was just last year. And Oh, it was so heavy. It was so heavy. It was like there were a million entities standing there, waiting to be acknowledged, waiting to be heard, that didn't know that they didn't have a body, who wanted to go but didn't know that they could, who wanted to leave but didn't know that they could, who were angry, who were upset, who were desperately trying to get through to people because they were still looking for their families. And it again just took Isha and me barely 5 minutes to clear them, and there was nothing but gratitude that followed. There was that energy of gratitude. It was literally like an energy that was dripping from them onto us. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And the contribution that they were after that to us has been so immense that even today when I think of it, and when I get that space, and I'm like, wow, that's a gift. Are you willing to be that gift, friends, is the question here. Are you willing to be the gift to them that they are asking for? Oh, Tejashri. Yes, darling. It's truly, truly, it's true kindness to be able to facilitate an entity, to show him that he has choice, to show him that he can move on, to show him that he can go to a different dimension, or to show him that he can just go get another body. That is true kindness.
There are few questions put up on the chat. If you
Yeah.
can read, because there are 2-3 of them.
Okay.
I'll read them out.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Can you explain who entities are for someone who's just starting out on trying to understand them?
What is this? What
Yes,
are you asking me?
darling. So entities, like I said earlier, entities is any energy that you have defined as something. So for that matter, like I said, a table, a chair, you, all of us are entities. In access, in this reality also, we often talk about entities only as ghosts and spirits, or beings without bodies. But in reality, entities include everything. Every single thing on this planet that has an energy and that has been defined or given a name.
Yeah, so thanks for that
That
clarification.
cleared something for you, Rohini?
Yes, it has, because I was getting a bit confused about, you were talking about like the Jallianwala Bagh incident and the energies that you perceive. And then on the other hand, you were talking about, the table, the chair, the books. So
business, money.
Business, money, exactly. So I was like, these are two different things that you're talking about: inanimate objects on one hand, and you're talking about entities, the other kind of entities which you really think of as entities. So I think,
Sweetheart, yeah, sweetheart, that's exactly what I want you to get. And thank you for saying that, because that is the separation that we create.
Okay.
You see, when we say they're two totally different things, are they really different? Or have you defined them as different?
Right.
Right?
Probably defined as different.
Yeah, it's the definition that we've attached to it.
Yeah.
So when you're really willing to receive from entities, when you're really willing to communicate with entities, is when you're truly willing to communicate with every molecule on this planet. When you can actually communicate with the molecules and ask them to contribute to your life.
Wow.
Yeah. It's really, I have absolutely no words. I just have gratitude for Gary and for Shannon for creating this phenomenal class. It's one of the most intense, one of the most life-changing classes I have attended or I have facilitated. It's really a beautiful class. Yeah.
So another question on that, Chandana, is
that,
you said that you can perceive energies, and so what if you can't perceive them? that there's sometimes you can, but a lot of times when you can't perceive energy, then how would this class
Yeah,
help?
I would really like you to listen to the call because that's the same question somebody else asked.
Okay.
And yeah, so if you can just listen to the call again,
Mhm.
it's about actually acknowledging what you know. It's
Okay.
about getting you to acknowledge what you are truly aware of,
Mhm. Okay.
right? Yeah,
Okay. Thanks so much, Chandana.
you're welcome, sweetheart.
There is a question by Kriti asking,
Yeah.
does entity have killing energies? Why are there cases of entities killing people? Are they true?
Entities killing people. Can entities truly kill people? Truth. Can entities truly kill people?
No.
They can't, love. It's a choice, darling. It's a choice that you make and you use them as an excuse.
Yeah. I think
What are
probably
you
the
using?
fear of,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
choice of
I mean,
fear.
how many people looking at, how many people with the very thought of not wanting to exist can even use the excuse of a cat scaring the shit out of them and them dying because they saw a cat. It's more about
True.
believing what you believe in and using any excuse to make that happen. Can entities really kill you?
No.
Are entities more powerful than you are? Who has a body? If you are willing to be the boss entity, the dominant entity of your reality, nothing can kill you except your own choice. I hope that cleared something for you, darling. I think there's one more question and then we can.
Yes.
Yes. So, Charu?
So it says, I have a question. I have been sleeping a lot, like insane, a lot. Anything new I wish to do, I perceive a no to every question I ask with respect to what would life be after 5 or 10 years. Every time it is not contributive. I have been in my house majorly and sleeping day and night. The sleeping increases more after bar swaps, listening to loops. What do you perceive?
I'd like to ask you, what do you know? Is this sleep what your body is asking for? Or are you aware of all the unconsciousness around you? Charu, I would like you to ask yourself this question. Are you aware of all the unconsciousness around you? And also, how many of us choose sleep as the easiest way to be unconscious? So, are you choosing sleep as a way to be unconscious? Or is your body releasing or processing with the sleep? It's choosing. Ask questions, darling. You've got to ask questions. There is no wrongness. Sleep is really not bad. I mean, if your body is wanting to sleep, it's okay.
Yeah, now that you say, it's actually releasing a lot while I've been sleeping. It's really
Awesome.
like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how much is it releasing? So ask your body to release for yourself. Ask your body to process for yourself. You don't have to be processing for everybody around you. And that, again, this class does, is it starts to show you what is yours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Thank you so much. That
You're
opened up
welcome, sweetheart. And I really want to thank Kavita and Nino, both of you, for putting this together. And
Thank you so
this
much.
is excellent. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to being in Mumbai.
Yeah, so we are having this in Mumbai on the 18th and 19th of this month.
in Chembur.
May.
Yay! I'm looking forward.
And when do we have the intro? And when do we have the intro?
On the 17th evening
And
in Chembur itself. Yes.
awesome. What else?
Yes.
Yeah,
truly.
so kindly get in touch for the enrollments and registrations.
Yes. With Kavita or with Ninu, both
Yes.
are wonderful hosts in Mumbai.
Yeah.
And looking forward to that. And Jyotika, oh, thank you, Jyotika. This is wonderful, beautiful woman from Jaipur.
Thank you, Chandana, for a lovely call.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Chandana.
Oh,
Really wonderful
Thank you
being
so
on this
much,
call.
everyone, for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you
much
so
for
much.
joining us. Thank you all. All
Okay.
right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
See you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks a
Bye.
lot, ma'am. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.